Very nice to be here. Very exciting. How
Oh,
are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. So, let me ask you just a couple of questions. As
Mhm.
you start thinking about what you've accomplished and the things that you've observed over the last 25, 35 years, because you've been doing this since you've been 2 years old, right? So,
Right, right.
that's the way to go. But can you identify some of the things that some key points that our audience could understand how you can manifest things and in your professional life and your personal life?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to do it in a story. May I do that?
Absolutely.
Okay. The U.S. Navy took us to Newport, Rhode Island. We've been here for 30 years. And we lived in a house for 3 years and decided that we wanted to buy because we were going to retire here from the Navy. Having being a Navy family and moving my business from place to place to place, and we've lived in a lot of different homes. And what I did, and I didn't understand law of attraction then, by the way,
Mm.
what I did was I wrote down everything I didn't want in a house and everything I did want in a house. It was the exact opposite of what I didn't want. And I'm talking detail. I'm talking about where the kitchen was, where the den was, the Berber carpet in the den, the hammock between two trees, the play yard in the backyard for the kids, the basement, a bathroom, a spare room with an extra bathroom in it for my parents. That kind of detail. And I actually was drawing it out on paper.
Mm.
And this was in 1998, and we were in the process of writing. I was in the process of writing my first book, and then, of course, I had two kids that I was. We were very, very active family. We were adopting my third child, and I was running a business. So I was going a little bit nutso, and I finally said to my husband, "Let's just rent one more year. I just can't handle it all." I let go of control because we were manic about getting a house.
Mm.
We had to sign another year lease,
Mhm.
and I just let go of control. I said, "I'm done. I am absolutely done." And that's the key here. Absolutely done. And the next day, I happened to see in the newspaper this house, and I knew everything that was on for sale at that time. And it was new, brand new, and not a brand new house, but it was a brand new listing. And I called up my agent. I said, "I want to see this house," because I knew that my house, I would know my house when I saw it. A lot of homes came very close, and listen to that very carefully when it comes to business and leadership. A lot came close, but I didn't feel it. I knew that I would know my house. And I drove to the address. And when I went around the corner, I heard these words, "That's it." I was like, "Oh, you've got to be kidding me." And I'm looking at this house. This is the neighborhood we wanted to live in. But because the house sits so low, we never saw it. And then I went down the street, and one of my friends happened to live down there. She was outside going to the to the mailbox. And I said, "Who lives in that corner house?" And it ended up being my dentist. you know? And to make a very long story short, when we walked through the house, I have my list in front of me. I checked off every single thing that I wanted to the house, everything except for one, a south facing house. Instead, the sun rises up on the east and goes down in the west. So I landed that house exactly as I wanted. And I didn't understand how I did that, but it wasn't manifesting until I let go of control.
Interesting.
Uh-huh. And I apply that, by the way, to everything in leadership, team building, communications. Because when we hold on so tightly to things, we're blocking the energy of being able to give us what we desire.
Mm. So the question of manifestation is not only one of being able to create in your mind all of the different desires that you want, but it's a connection with the energy of allowing that to go and
Yes,
fill, have the universe come back and answer that desire that you have.
absolutely. And, I'm going to give another story. From
Mhm.
the time I was very little, I always knew I was going to have two children and adopt one, always. And I was told by four doctors I could never have children. And I look at him and go, "Watch me." And my oldest was born 9 months and 2 days after my wedding date. The next one was born 4 years later, and we adopted my third, which was in the midst of the book writing and everything else in 1998. And my third and my oldest have the same birthmark. So I trusted my intuition,
Mhm.
and I had it wasn't about control for me, it was a knowing that it was going to happen. I just knew that I was going to manifest this because I trusted how I was feeling so much. Because with intuition, you know when you work with your the images that come, what you hear, what you feel, what you sense, when you work with your God-given gifts, when you are born, the law of attraction works with you because every single thing is energy. Everything. When I was studying to be a Reiki master in 1998, I went to my uncle's house. My uncle is a radiologist. He was a world-renowned radiologist, won third prize in the world for studies on breast cancer at that time. And this little Cuban man, when I walked in and told him what I was doing, he ran around the house going, Ana Teresa. My name is Ana Teresa. Ana Teresa, this is energía. Esto es energía. Esto es energía. Everything is energy. And I stood there in awe that this man who was always on my case was validating what I was doing as a Reiki master because every single thing is energy, whether it's this glass that I have in front of me, whether it's the phone, whether it's the computer, everything is energy, everything. It has a vibration to it. And when we realize that everything is energy, and we vibrate we choose to live in a state of gratitude. We choose to live in a state of appreciation with what we have. We end up attracting more and more and more of what we desire
Mhm.
because it's law. Ask and it is given. But we've got to believe it. We got to feel it. We have to know it.
Mm, that's interesting. So I want to go back to your story about the house
Mhm.
because that's a wonderful story. I love that. Um, when you were looking for the house, how long were you looking for the house?
A year.
A year.
A
Three.
year. Yeah.
So let's just we'll play a little game here.
Sure.
365 days. You had this intention. You had a detailed list of the thing that you wanted,
Hmm.
and you were taking action on that every day, or
Yes.
as
Yeah.
frequently as
We
possible.
were.
So it's you were creating that vibration actively on a
Yes.
daily basis.
Yes.
So all of a sudden, you combine that wavelength of energy plus the energy that you have, plus the desire, and then you stopped and let it
But there was another piece to it.
go. Okay.
There's another piece to it.
Mhm.
A lot of the homes that we looked at were very, very close to what was on my paper. It
Mhm.
didn't feel right.
Ah.
My husband's like, "But Terry, look at this." I mean, it's like, "No, it's not the right house." And he has since learned to trust me. It's not the right house.
We
I
got a
just know it's not the right house. I will know my house when I see it. When I feel it, I will know it. And, sure enough, uh, when we walked through this house and he saw the kitchen
Mhm.
with the step down into the den with the Berber carpet that was written on my paper, and he started looking at the list. The only thing he asked me to do next time is to make sure that we have a flat driveway.
Oh my goodness. So when you think about that feeling of certainty,
Mhm.
right? That was you knew that was the house.
Yeah.
So when you're building that energy for the 365 days, you knew how that what it was that you really wanted. And
Yeah.
then you could actually see it. So there's kind of like 3 or 4 different things that I think people who are, they're at the beginning of their journey with the law of attraction
Mhm.
don't understand that subtlety that you've just described. Um, does that make sense?
No, it makes complete sense. The key is to put the desire there, really, really feel it, but then let go.
Mhm.
Because, people say to me, "Well, law of attraction doesn't work for me." Well, law of attraction works 24/7. Hate to tell you, it works 24/7. And if you think it doesn't work for you, God bless you. You're absolutely right. If you think it's going to work for you, God bless you. You're absolutely right.
Right.
It always works based on our mindset, how we're thinking, and how we are feeling. Our emotions and our feelings create our vibrations. How we view the world creates our vibrations. And when our vibrations are high, we tend to attract more of what we want. However, we tend to be impatient. Okay, we tend to be impatient. We want everything now.
Mhm.
Well, things come when they're meant to come. Now, the one thing my husband loves when I'm in a car with him is because I can always manifest a parking spot. I do it every single time and everywhere we go. I leave the house, go, okay, do your job. And I always get a good parking spot. But for the bigger things, and that's one of the ways that you can start. But for the bigger things, it is about being patient because there's a lot of moving parts to different things. Like for me, I had to wait until the seller of the house was ready to put it on the market.
Right.
So there's no way I would have gotten this house if I had been impatient. I would have been living in a house I wasn't happy in. This, if I waited, I gave up control, and bam, the next day it appeared.
Now, and that's interesting. So generally, people aren't raised to experience that,
Right.
to do the thing that you need to do, to create the list, and then let it go.
Mhm.
We have a tendency to be taught. I don't know where that comes from, and maybe you can enlighten me about this. But we have a tendency to say, I have a question, I'm going to get an answer, I want the result, and I want it now. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Life isn't that way, though.
It's not. But what happens, and I don't like to use the word but, and what happens is, an answer to your question,
Mhm.
we live in the world of practicality.
Mm.
The practical, tactical, and logical. And a lot there and what happens is, as we're growing up, we're born with all of these intuitive gifts. We're born with all of it. We are a blank slate. But then our environment, the people that our parents, the people who we are around, they are the ones who influence how it is that we work with our gifts. And again, got to remember, they were influenced by their environments growing up.
Mm.
So it's about us breaking the pattern and owning what our gifts are,
Mhm.
who we are meant to be in the world. And a lot of it has to do with fear. Fear is forgetting everything is all right. So
Mm.
for the practical, tactical, and logical folks, and I'll give you an example. My dad is an engineer. Okay. And when I was studying Reiki and emotion code and body code and all that stuff, I don't believe in any of that. Okay. When I was being a Reiki master, my mom thought I was a witch. So, but then right before she died, she kept asking me to put my hands on her knees because it really helped to heal her. So, over the years, she got used to it because she knew I was always studying. So what I do is, in merging the practical, tactical, and logical with the emotional, the energetic, the spiritual, and the intuitive, that's whole leadership. And the leaders who practice all of it are amazingly successful because they know deep down inside that when they use all their skill sets, they're attracting to themselves exactly what it is that they want and need. And they allow their teams to make the mistakes. We talked about this with failing before the show. It's okay to fail because it will give you more information where you can ask the open-ended questions to be able to get to the right solution to solve the problem. You cannot solve problems with the same way that you created them. It is about stepping out of the matrix, going into a different state, and being able to search for solutions outside of what created the problem.
Wow, that's awesome. So let's talk about shiftology and the card decks that you use. I
Yeah,
love that.
thank you. Well, they're my babies. I birthed 5 quintuplet card decks in a 9-month period. I took a sabbatical. My dad passed away last June, and I just decided to take some time off. And next thing I know, I'm creating one. They're all digital right now. They will be in print, but right now they're all digital. I decided to create one card deck for my VIP days and my retreats, my 3-day retreats and my 7-day retreats, to be able to give to people. So I created the one card deck, Unlock the Power in You, which is the name of the retreat. And after we finished it, the next thing came up. You got to do the next card deck. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is me in journaling. Writing this out. The next card deck came up, which was intuitive leadership. Then the next card deck came up, which is shiftology. Then the next card deck came up, which is powered by angels. And then the last card deck came up. And it's 5 card decks, 3 different collections. And they're all about leadership, communications, teams. Powered by Angels is 14 archangels, and it's all about leadership and team building.
Wow.
And so that's Powered by Angels. Intuitive leadership is all about leadership and how to work with intuition in order to lead better. The Vision and Vibe deck is all about I am statements and embodying that and really believing it. And attached to that deck is a vision board template that you can create in Canva. Then Unlock the Power in You, which is unlocking your inner strength. Everything, and all of these decks, except for the Vision and Vibe deck, have 60 cards in them, 60 to 65 cards in them. And then Shiftology, the art of impactful, intuitive, and intentional change.
Yeah, for full disclosure, I actually purchased them all, so and I'm using them. So if you know that, that's brilliant. If for those of you who are listening, do it, right? What I found is that the intuitive leadership deck is really affecting me personally, because we're taught empirical evidence, and yet as an entrepreneur, you use your intuition all the time. And so there's that internal battle that you kind of go through. And the card deck helps you. I mean, it helped me. It's helping me. So it's a process, and you fail forward and keep going.
Yeah. So, and what's really cool in each of those decks, you can journal in the deck, you can shuffle in the deck. It's a game. You can it'll play. You can use all 5 of them together at the same time. So I use them every morning, my own decks, and it's a lot of fun with the messages that come up. And when I would do my power shift sessions in my Facebook group, the Prosperity Power Network, I would talk about a specific topic and then put the phone up to the screen, and actually on the screen I would pull a card out. It always matched what I was talking about. It wasn't a setup. It was just always matched what I was talking about. What can I say?
I love it. Well, Terry, this has been really wonderful. And as I have said in the past, we had our conversations beforehand, what you're doing is amazing. For those of you who don't know Terry, or you should, the reality ends up being, I've gone out and done I talk to all the speakers and I say, I'm trolling you, right? To find out who you are, what you do, and how you do it. What Terry's accomplished in her life is amazing. Her story is something that you can be inspired by. But not only that, what she's doing with her card decks and the programs that she has really affect you in your life today and tomorrow, both personally and professionally. So I strongly urge you, strongly urge you to follow Terry. And Terry, where can people see you? Where can we find you?
Well, on Facebook, you can see my name right at the bottom. Just type in my name, and they can find me on Facebook. Same thing on LinkedIn. Okay. They can send me an email at terry@intuitiveleadership.com, or if they would like to do a coffee chat, coffeewithterry.com.
I love it. That's awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we'll put this together, make sure that everybody who's watching this gets access to this. For some reason, my ticker's not working. I apologize. One of those things. So everybody who's watching, both live and in the future, please take the opportunity to listen to Terry. Take the opportunity to have that coffee with her, because it can be a life-transforming activity. It was when I first had the conversation with her, and it is continuing when I'm using her decks. So everybody, thank you very much, Terry. Appreciate your participation and being here for us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.